Hello students, welcome to today's class. And today is 20th May and today we are going to end our chapter, and since we are going to end our chapter, we are going to summarize all the things which we have learned in this particular chapter. Okay, and in case student you are having any doubt in this particular chapter, feel free to contact me. Okay, so let's move ahead and recap what all the things we have learned in this chapter. So our chapter started with the term respiration. So student, as I have told you, respiration is one of the most important or vital life process in our body. Okay, and see here it is written there, our body can withstand up to 3 weeks without food. Okay, it can live without food for 3 weeks and 1 week without water, but we cannot live only for 3 to 4 minutes without oxygen. By this you can understand the importance of oxygen. Yes, and why oxygen is important? Because oxygen provides us energy for doing all the body functions which we are doing now. Everything which we do require energy, and from where do we get energy? We get energy from oxygen. And not only us student, all living things, they do respiration. Okay, be it a very small bacteria or a plant, human beings, animal, everybody is doing respiration. Their process is different. Like if I talk about plant, can you see nose in plant? No, but you know that plants are also doing respiration. Yes, they take in oxygen and they also give out carbon dioxide during respiration. So it is a most important process. Okay, now what is actually respiration? Now we know that it's a very important process, but what actually is respiration? Respiration is the process of taking oxygen from air and giving out carbon dioxide. Yes, and I have told you, when we inhale, that time we take mixture of gases inside our body and only oxygen is absorbed there and carbon dioxide is released along with all the gases. Okay, we take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. It is clear to all of you. Don't do mistake in writing the sequence of gases. Take oxygen, give or expel carbon dioxide. Okay, now we understand that respiration is a process in which oxygen is taken out, the useful oxygen is taken inside the body, so that oxygen can be used in our body to give energy, and carbon dioxide or the harmful carbon dioxide is released from our body. It is clear. So now come the point, can our nose alone do this process? No. Is it doing alone? No. So other organs are also associated with this, or we can better say that other organs work as a team. They work as a team to make this process of respiration possible. So this all organs which are involved in respiration, together they form an organ system called respiratory system. Organ system that help in respiration is called respiratory system. This we have already discussed. Now, just now I told you different organs work as a unit. So what are the organs which are involved in respiratory system? Nose is there. Windpipe, it is internal, you cannot see. Then lungs, you can feel the expanding and contracting. Lungs are there and a diaphragm is there. These are internal organs, you cannot see. Now let's understand what is the process of respiration. Okay, along with telling the process, I will describe the organs also. So first is nose. We take air inside our body through nose, and how it is entering? Through two openings which are present here. Opening means two holes which are present here. From here air moves inside, and inside our nose you can feel very small hairs and few slimy things present there. And what is the function of that? They help as a filter first, and they moist the air also. Okay, because our body is having different body temperature, and so to make our lungs work proper, they firstly act as a filter and make the outside air little bit warmer for our lungs. Okay, from there the air moves inside, it reaches windpipe. Okay, windpipe is the pipe through which air moves to lung. Okay, this area is here windpipe. You see here, it moves to windpipe. Another name for windpipe is trachea. Okay, trachea, trachea. Okay, air moves inside, then this is windpipe. Okay, at the end of windpipe or trachea, it is divided into two parts. Okay, two branches, that is called bronchi. Okay, and these further are divided into many small branches. Okay, in the picture, next picture I am going to show you, you can see it is further divided into many sub branches, and at the end there are globular structure where actual exchange of gas take place. Actual exchange of gas take place means oxygen is absorbed and carbon dioxide is released there. Both the parts it is like this, several branches are there. Okay, and all these things are covered in a membrane or sac like thing, that is our lungs, which you see in the picture. Okay, whenever you see a diagram of a lung, it is like this type of structure here. So now coming to the lungs. Lungs are sac-like structure and they are located in chest area, and since it is a very delicate organ and very important also, so they are covered by a robust body or the strong portion or strong structure, that is rib cage. Okay, they are protected by hard, you can feel the rib cage here, the hard bony structure here, that is rib cage. Okay, I have told you. And both the lungs are not of equal size. Yes, the right one is slightly bigger, or we can say the left one is slightly smaller than the right one. Okay, see here, in this particular area, the left lung is slightly smaller than the right one, and this area where I have marked this small area, our heart is also located there. So our both of the lungs are not equal in size, I have told you. Okay, now this one is clear to you that air moves inside, move to windpipe, then go lung. Okay, now there has to be some mechanism or pump which should allow air, or which should suck air inside our body and again push air outside. There should be some mechanism or something has to be there, some muscle, special muscles has to be there, and that work is done, particular work is done by diaphragm. Okay, diaphragm are dome shape or parachute like muscle just below our chest. See here, you can see here the diaphragm, position of diaphragm here. Okay, it moves up and down to make air come inside and push outside, inside and push outside. Now rest I am going to make you understand in a small video which I have taken from internet and given my voice so as to make you understand, a smart clipping. So let's move ahead and understand the process of up and down movement of diaphragm. Okay. Step 1, diaphragm contracts, it moves down. Okay, so what happened? Lungs expand and air moves inside the lungs. Clear to you? Now moves to step 2. In step 2, the diaphragm relaxes. It moves up and pushes the lungs upward, and the air is expelled out, or carbon dioxide is expelled. Now you understand the breathing process. What is breathing? Inhalation, taking air inside. Exhalation, taking air outside. Now the breathing rate for what is breathing rate? Breathing rate is number of breath we take in 1 minute. Okay, for a normal adult it is 18 breath in 1 minute. Children breathe faster. Why do they breathe faster? Because they are physically more active than us adult. Okay, so therefore they breathe more faster. First thing. Now one more important thing is here, that when we do some physical activity, I have told you an activity, you jump there and then you monitor your breath, that time what happened? Your breathing rate as well as your heartbeat increases. Why it increases? Just now I told you, whenever you are doing some physical activity, that time you require more energy. More energy require means more oxygen require. More oxygen require means more respiration rate. Okay, and who is carrying oxygen through whole of our body? Okay, blood. So that's why our heart start pumping more that time. Okay, whenever we are doing physical activity. This one is clear to you. Now you know student, when we are ill, that time our heartbeat as well as our breathing rate, they also changes. Okay, so doctor uses an instrument called stethoscope. See here, called stethoscope. Through that, doctor can monitor whether you are ill or you are fit. Now coming to the topic, blowing air to warm up or cool down things. Okay, now here an important thing here is, a student, whenever we blow air, the temperature of air which comes out from our body is always same. Please remember. So if temperature of our body is always temperature of our blown air is always same, so how come one time it is giving cool air and another time warm it is doing? Actually, what happened, when you blow air to a very hot thing, that time the thing is very hot, and as compared to that, your air which you are blowing from your mouth, that too in speed, it is lesser, it is having lesser temperature than that hot food. So when you blow it, it become cool. Okay, you blow to make that thing little bit cooler. Okay, when in winter time, see this picture, in winter time the outside temperature is very low. Okay, it is very cold, your hands become very cold. That time what you do, you blow your hands. So your air which you are blowing from your body, it is more warmer than your hands, temperature of your hand. So you feel relaxed, you feel warm there. So the same air is doing two different things. Okay, I have pasted a picture of ice cream here because to make you compare. Here she is blowing to cool down her tea or coffee, and here if she blows, is it going to become more cooler? No, ice cream is more cooler. So when you blow air to the ice cream, that time what will happen, the ice cream is going to melt. Okay, and now see this picture, the woman, the lady sitting there, she is blowing air to make fire burn. Why? Because fire need air for burning, and while doing like that, she is providing more air so that the fire start burning more rapidly. Okay, so this was the thing. Now let's move ahead and now see this one. Okay students, see the topic, altitude sickness. What is happening here? Okay, so what is this altitude? Altitude means the position above the ground level. Okay, ground level, you understand, where we are living, and if we move to very high height areas, that time what happen, the level of oxygen or the concentration of oxygen in the air goes down. Oxygen is very less, and we know that oxygen is very important for respiration and for our body also. First thing you know. Now second thing is that every individual are having their own breathing capabilities. Some of few of the people's, their lung are little bit weaker. So if they move to this high height areas, that time what happen, they get this particular sickness that is called altitude sickness. Okay, they get difficulty in breathing. So what are the symptoms there, and what happen, they get less oxygen. So if you get your body is not getting sufficient oxygen, then what will happen, you will get headache, tiredness, stomach ache, dizziness, sleep disorder. Okay, these are the symptoms associated with altitude sickness. Okay, so I hope altitude sickness is clear to you. So now whenever you go to high hilly areas, please make sure that you are not asthmatic and your lungs are strong enough. Okay, now let's move ahead. Now let's have a small maths fun. A normal respiratory rate of healthy adult is about 12 to 20 breath per minute. Okay, then how many breath does a person takes in 2 hours? Now let's solve it. 1 hour equal to how many minutes? In 1 hour we are having 60 minutes. So 2 hours, 2 into 60, that is 120 minutes. Clear? Now normal respiration rate, it is given 12 to 20 breath in 1 minute. So how many breath we are going to have in 2 hours? Simply multiply it. 12 into 20, that is equal to 1440, to 20 into 120, that is equal to 2400 breath in 2 hours. Okay, now it is clear to you. This is the end of our chapter, and few workbook exercise I will be giving in PDF format. Okay, student, if you have any doubt and difficulty, student, in understanding the chapter, feel free to contact me. I'm always there to help you. Okay, and please study well. Soon we are going to start our chapter test, so please, student, start studying. Okay.